Lobster Productions.
I think this whole culture of canceling is...
Donald Trump has crazy white boy energy.
I just think it's crazy that people have these reactions to really anything, especially language. It's like when we see the way the news is manipulated now, which has become so apparent to most people now, and then you think about what we know about history, how close is any of it?
It makes you feel like it was a long-ass legacy media is pretty much dead. It's effectively dead. It's like a walking corpse now. And now we have the rise of alt media.
They want you to not think about the information. They want you to latch on to the person delivering it to you. And that determined whether or not you believe or trust it.
Now we exist in a paradigm where absolutely anything can happen, anything can be exposed, and nothing will fucking come of it. And we're all totally okay with it. We were talking about how they will try to emotionally manipulate you. And much of the biggest disasters that have happened on the world stage, as far as things that have the American public is giving consent to, we got there by way of emotional manipulation.
I tell people all the time, I might be fucking wrong. Don't trust me. Analyze the content of it.
We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers. We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
Oh yeah, dude. There's some Nephilim shit.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us fight and be slaves. And everybody's just walking around, heading the clouds and wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government releasing poison in the air.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nephilim Death Squad. I am David Lee Corbo, a.k.a. The Raven. That is Top Lobster, the father of disinformation. Before we get into today's guest...
Guys, before we get into this, 8.2 million views.
That's what he's at now?
That's what he's at. I'm sorry
Holy
we just
crap.
derailed the monetary, but geez, guys, if you have not looked at this ukulele cover from Tower Gang Toad on Twitter, at Tower Gang Toad.
Can I get all of the not funny out of the way? Toad is getting death threats. Everything else about this is funny. Well, that's kind of funny too, but you know, that's worth mentioning. Toad is now the recipient of many death threats.
Yo, fuck all that. Join the Patreon.
Patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. We're going live exclusively there around the half an hour mark, and you can continue enjoying the show, having an ad-free experience, engaging in the live chat, and gaining early access to the episode. You can do it all for free. Sign up at patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. Sign up for the 7-day free trial, and you can absorb as much content as humanly possible and then get out of there before the billing cycle kicks in. But it ain't going to happen because we have way too much shit backlogged. Joining us today. Oh, also, guys, go to brogrove.com. Pick up your tickets for Bohemian Grove, because why the fuck wouldn't you do that?
We'll
That's
talk
crazy.
about that.
Why would you do that? Look above to your left, to the left, you know, your head. Wait. Yeah.
Over here.
You get what I'm saying.
Today we have Brad Binkley on the show.
Binkley on the show, joining us today.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, brother? Before we get into all of the very important shit that we have to talk about today, why don't we first talk about where people can find Brad Binkley and what it is that Brad Binkley do?
I host the Propaganda Report podcast. It's on any podcasting app that you might listen on, and also video streams as well. You can find all of my links in bio on my X profile at Freedom Act Radio on Twitter. Is probably the easiest way. My website is propagandafight.com. You can also find it there. And I deconstruct daily news and through a comedic lens, and I do man on the street stuff, live shows, and been trying to expose what's going on behind the curtain for some time now. Back in like 2019 or so on WSB, I was talking about Event 201. I think in December before it started. Got kicked off there when it got bought by Leon Black, who was one of Epstein's buddies. I have one of the oldest YouTube videos about Jeffrey Epstein. I was talking about that shit before it was in vogue to talk about it. So that's pretty much what I do. I'm happy to be doing my first show with two podcasters of color.
All right, wait. Before we go any further, I was still able to discern that. That's why I laughed. But you're getting a little bit crackly for some reason. This shit happens. I think it's StreamYard. It has this thing where it occasionally sucks a bag of dicks. So go ahead and hit the refresh button.
Okay,
and
yeah. I'll pop out.
pop out, pop back in. You know what I love about this is like every time we do a show, before the show, we're like, all right, this is
Did
crushing.
you just lick your fingers quickly as you're talking and then touch your eyebrows?
You saw that?
I saw that. It's wild. It's a
Crazy.
wild
Don't draw
thing to do.
attention to that. These are just, they're like comforting things.
There's a lot of people that just listen to the podcast and they're grateful for that. And then they said I watched for the first time, like David has a really big head, gayer than I thought. And then they also don't like that I'm as brown as I am. I suggest that you guys listen on audio only.
You know what? That's a consistent theme on this show is people who are audio enjoyers only will then watch it. And instead of saying like, oh, it's interesting to see, they'll always go, wow, I hate this. I hate seeing you guys. I hate knowing what you look like now. Somehow I think less of you. And that's pretty consistent. All right, Brad, sound off.
Check. Does this sound any better?
It sounds way better than whatever the hell was just happening. So you got essentially canceled pretty early. What year did you say that was?
2019 is when we got kicked off WSB, and it was shortly after the parent company was bought by Leon Black, and we talked about Epstein stuff for years leading up to that. Some of the stuff that, a lot of people rediscovered years later as though it were for the first time. And yeah, as soon as he bought it, we were off pretty quick. And we had also just talked about Event 201 about like 2 weeks before they booted us.
That's a ballsy move. Like before I was making content about this sort of thing, I was talking about it, and it's very difficult to try to talk to when you don't have an audience, right? An audience of strangers is a little bit easier. Try saying it to like people that are local to you, or saying it to people that are in your family or your friend circle. I was only doing it on Instagram or on Meta occasionally. I'll get that annual Facebook notifications like, here's what you said 3 years ago. And I'm just, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why would you allow medical yada,
dude.
Yada. And so, but I think we're in a place now, Brad, where I don't think we're getting canceled anymore.
I don't think so. I think, judging by Twitter anyway, there's not a lot of canceling going on. I saw an article the other day that was like something about Joe Rogan and I can't remember who else, but they are bringing back the R word, and it was all about and I'm like, I think you guys are a little bit behind on what words are being brought back. You need to go over to X. But I thought it was interesting because the other day, Heil was trending, and yet I couldn't make a post about my favorite 18th century scientist and a surveyor, Jacob from Sweden.
That was his name? That's his real name?
That's his real name. And I just posted, you don't meet many faggots like Jacob, with an image of the Wikipedia page of Jacob. And it got censored for hate speech. And I'm like, look at Heil everywhere. I can't say Jacob. Like, literally, this guy's name can't be spoken. Like, 200, 300 years ago, however long ago it was he's alive, probably never imagined when he, turned his wife into a and they had a couple little faggots together, that this whole family of faggots would never be able to be spoken of again.
That's incredible. That's white erasure. I'm almost 100% he's white.
Well, listen,
he's totally white. Has the face of a.
I'm pretty sure. This my co-host has a face of.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I think we're missing the point here, though. I feel like Kanye's song is not hate speech. I'm very confused by YouTube's move and Spotify and all these other platforms. It's like it's bringing people together is what I feel like. There's some people that are mad, but mostly people are bopping to it. Like I spent an entire day watching just the people reviewing the song, and when the hook comes in, they all just go. Like,
right. Yeah.
It's bringing it's a uniting theme. It's beautiful. It's not even necessarily about. It's more about like
breaking
just
taboos.
Yes, I'm gonna do what you told me not to do, or I'm gonna do what you said I can't do. And it's
what's interesting is who is this song making mad? Because I was in a black barbershop this morning, which was a mistake, but a happy one. I went to a barbershop. I wanted to go to a different one because I just wasn't pleased with my previous one. And I walk in and they had great reviews. So even though I walked in and it was a bunch of black dudes, I went,
did they all stop and look at you when you walked in?
No, they didn't. I walked up, they opened the door for me and held it for me as I walked in. It was incredible. Like they were very kind, excellent barbers. And I decided, fuck it, man, I'm going to let one rip here. So in the chair next to me being cut by a black man is a morbidly obese black lesbian, which is the best kind of lesbian.
Stacey Abrams.
Yes. Stacey Abrams, if you will. And she, you know, we're kind of going back and forth talking about hip hop and things like that. And we were joking about Mariah Carey and how that bitch just kind of waddles around the stage now. She doesn't actually have to perform. And it concerns me that she even has to perform because she should be getting residuals every December, right? I mean, every December, this bitch is killing it. Mariah Carey's Christmas music. And so I go, okay, we have a rapport now. Right. And we're talking about the same things. They know I like music. Right. So maybe they'll respect my opinion on this. And I go, how about Kanye? Kanye's doing a lot right now, isn't he? And I kind of let that one and they go, yeah, Kanye's doing a lot. And I go, all right.
Is he doing too much though?
Is he doing too much? Is this good what Kanye's doing? And one thing leads to another. And the conversation goes in a way where everybody unanimously in this black barbershop starts going, they will put these celebrities under their thumb, and if they step out of line, they will kill them in the media. And so I'm like, ooh, Kanye empathizer. So I say all this just to say, after the conversation is done, I'm left with the lasting impression that black people are not mad at this.
That's actually a great t-shirt.
Who is mad with this?
A t-shirt that just says Kanye appreciator.
Yes.
That's it. So we know where you're at, like socially, you know?
Yes. Yeah. But who the hell is getting mad at
There
this?
was the niggas for Trump that were hanging out outside of Fulton County in Atlanta.
It's the same thing.
I interviewed a bunch of these guys outside of Trump's. He gave a speech at Georgia State University. See, what Trump did during the campaign is he would go, at least here in Georgia, he would go to the same places Kamala went to and give a speech, I think just to show the contrasting crowd. Now, I would always go cover what was going on outside there. And there was never anybody there waiting to get in line for Kamala. For Trump, it was like a festival party outside, and there was some Antifa there, and there were these black guys because I have long hair, and they thought, I was like, I'm not with them, dude. I'm just talking to people, and they grabbed the mic, and they were all, I mean, they loved Trump, and they hated Antifa. They were trying to fight him, and these are the type of guys that I think, like you're talking about, they don't give a shit. I think this whole culture of canceling is. And most black guys, my friends who are like DEI guys, they'll be like, oh, can you believe DEI is going to take it away? Like these progressive gay improv friends of mine. And I say that in the kindest way possible. I love them to death. They're just brainwashed. But they'll be like, yeah, our friend Raymond, you know, he probably has something to say about that. And I'm like, Raymond is the only black person you know. He grew up in a liberal white neighborhood, and he's a puppeteer. I don't think he got his job because of DEI, dude. Like, I play basketball with black dudes all the time. And one was giant big guy was like trying to body me up in a game recently. I was like, you gonna body me up, bro? And he goes, no, man, I'm voting for Trump too. He just keeps looking at me because I'm white. I'm like, I don't vote, but yeah, that's cool, man. I just think they're tired of the shit.
I think that's been my experience. I remember going to Georgia. I guess it would have been right after the lockdowns, and I was confused because I came from New Jersey, and one of the first things, you know, Georgia is just vast expanses of wilderness in some areas. It's just big
Georgia sucks. I'm sorry, Brad. It fucking is garbage. We went there for the Libertarian. Maybe I just saw a really bad part. Yeah, we were there. We went.
That was bad.
It was bad, right?
It was very bad. Yeah, we almost got stabbed at a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Where did you guys go in Atlanta?
That DFW, the rundown DFW that the LP was hosting their event at, and then
where was that? Oh, so you guys were in Conyers. Yeah, that event was in kind of a shitty place, and Atlanta is awful. The suburbs, like where the lakes are, is a lot more beautiful in Georgia.
Well, we didn't get to see any of the nice, but when I was there years ago, I was greeted by one of the first people I had seen in almost the entire trip once I crossed over into Georgia because it's so big. And when I finally came across humanity again, it showed up in the shape of like a 6'8" heavy-set black dude in a Donald Trump hat and red and white and blue suspenders. And he was handing out Trump flyers and everything. So that was my first time where I was like, maybe like most black people do fuck with Trump. I think you know what black people don't fuck with? Look, I know I'm about to liken them to dogs, but I mean it in the best way possible.
Hold on. Let me just address Dickie.
I'll let it marinate.
Dickie saying Georgia sucks, talks about Atlanta. I've been to two places in Georgia besides driving straight through it. I've been to Atlanta or Conyers or wherever that is, that area there. And then I've been to Jekyll Island, and both horrible feelings for two different reasons. Like, yeah, both like two different color spectrums, but both very
similar
bad
reasons. You know why? Because it's like they did both of those things. Whatever happened at Jekyll Island, whatever happened with the black people did. So the spirit is the same. But I'm finding out that most black people, in the way that dogs can smell fear, black people don't like fear. If you show up and you're unafraid, so if you're Donald Trump, and Donald Trump does not have like this semblance of fear in him whatsoever. He's always comfortable with what he's saying. He's always exactly who he is when you see him on the stage and when you see him off the stage and he's shaking hands with people. And so I think that is the energy that black people like. Black people don't like, if you run from a dog will bite you and fuck you up. If you run from a black person, the same thing happens. I don't think they bite you, but they will fuck you up. So it's all the same energy. And I think that's what black people appreciate about it.
Yeah. No, you're right. So Trump has that way of speaking where it's like he doesn't bullshit. He's I don't know about, but he's just direct, and he says the thing that people are thinking and wish they could say. And I think there's a lot of appreciation for that. Black people, white people, whoever. There was a bunch of fucking Korean people marching together, like supporting Trump. I'm like, these are the most Asian people I've ever seen in my life, and they're all chanting something. I can't tell anything they're saying except Trump in the whole chant. It's crazy the way that the diversity of the support that I saw outside of every one of his events that I went to in Georgia and Tennessee, and I think I went to one in Florida as well.
See, right here, we have a Tiffany Angel in the chat. She says, so true. My husband used to bounce at a black club in the 90s, and he has that kind of psycho energy. They respect him. They love a crazy white boy. And that's kind of the same energy that Donald Trump has. Donald Trump has crazy white boy energy. Mm-hmm. And I think that they respect him. But we're talking about the people who are getting offended. Sweet Tower Gang Toad, who broke the internet recently doing the cover of How by Kanye West. He goes viral to the tune of what, 8 million people you showed right before this started? Like, holy crap.
8.2 million. That's wild. For somebody
8.2 million.
Yeah, someone that deep on the spectrum, it might be a little too much. But there's like, it's funny to see. I'm trying to look for some of these quote tweets that I responded to, but somebody said, this dude here. Here we go. I'll pull this up on the screen. So this guy here, whoever he is, Western Kabuki, says, wokeness needs to come back so fast. We need to be able to ruin people's entire lives again so bad.
Wow. What a fucking gay sentiment. We just dropped Brad off the screen.
Sorry.
That is a
Brad.
very gay sentiment.
Yeah, it's the gayest thing you could possibly say. And I'm just like, I made I don't know, this is the response back to wokeness will have you believe that an autist saying the N-word is worse than cutting your kid's dick off. But in reality, if I were face to face with this guy, if he wouldn't be violent, I would just be like, yo, dude, it's over. Like, it's whatever
that culture is coming past. That time is coming past.
Yeah, it's like I think Michael Malice called it damn, what did he say? It's like a meaningless crying, or oh god, I'm not gonna remember the phrase.
Well, you know what he's saying there is when he says what is it, cancel culture or whatever needs to come back, what he's really saying is I have no power over this individual,
called impotence,
and that's not fair.
That's right.
Impotence signaling.
Okay.
Right. So instead of victim signaling or things like that, he's signaling that he is completely impotent. Yes. His movement has been castrated and cut off at the knees,
and he wants the power he used to have.
Yeah, but it's not coming back. I mean, maybe it will, but it's going to take a long time. People are fucking fed up with the bullshit that these guys pulled, because yeah, sure, Toad should be canceled for this. This is wild. What he did here, he's
disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
He said multiple slurs, things that I wouldn't let my mom listen to. But he's have
such
moved
a nice
so far.
guy too. I saw that when
nice
you retweeted that. Having met Toad in person a couple times, he's a really nice guy.
Well, that's what's perfect about this is somebody that is adorable, right? He's just this little man that looks like he was shaped out of clay and some mistakes were made, but is really endearing. and that is the mouthpiece that is it's putting out this message that people are they're furious with it. And the thing that really upsets me is, and this does kind of upset me a little bit, is that he's getting these death threats. And it's like, you want to kill a dude, number one, that looks like that. You go, this man's life's not been hard enough. I've got to make it even harder. And that's a wild thing, because if you look at him, you cannot cast out the possibility that he is autistic or he is on the spectrum or there's something seriously wrong there. And that's part of what makes it fun and
We're
endearing.
not even joking. Like when
Not
you
even
meet him
joking,
in
not
real
even a little
life,
bit.
he's like built backwards. We've determined like if you put his head on the opposite way, his body would look better. He's built
Yes.
completely backwards. He's got a hole, like a knuckle deep hole in his small of his back that he puts his hand in. His left arm's broken and slightly twisted. The dude's like all kinds of mangled. I mean,
Yeah.
he probably has Noonan's disease from a
I think
child.
he does have Noonan's disease. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
He had a
and
stroke, didn't he? I think I saw him post
Multiple.
about it.
multiple grand mal seizures.
A
What the fuck is
grand
he saying?
mal seizure.
Grand mal seizures. But the point that I'm trying to get at here is these aren't black people that are threatening him with death. These are still white people. So
liberals.
They're liberals. Yes, yes. And it's strange to see them at the end of the death throes of their control be attacking people like Toad. You know what I mean? It's like they have nothing left, and now they're attacking this built backwards dude. And I don't know.
I think that's why it works. It works so well. So you have like Kanye who is doing this thing. He's this black guy saying how, and it's like it's so disorienting to people because they're not even sure how to attack Kanye with this. And then the next thing up is like, here's this white autistic dude doing the same thing, and they are just short circuiting. They're like, we don't know what to do about this. Our only mechanism of canceling does not work anymore.
Yes.
And they're just like freak. I mean, I'm a little concerned because I feel like they're going to resort to violence.
Are the
soon.
death threats coming through X, or how are those coming?
I think it's coming through X. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he's gone viral now on multiple platforms, not by his own,
Like
4chan,
efforts.
Yeah,
Instagram.
4chan. Like what the fuck?
It's a kind of another, like you said, like forcing the liberals. They don't really know how to handle it, and they're attacking Toad. Like you just described Toad. Like if you could see Toad in person, and you have all these people attacking him in person, have all of them together, and they could see them and the person they're attacking, you would see who the bully is.
You would see who the monster is, and it's not the guy who is built backwards, who has no shoes on. It is the crowd around him.
It's not the no shoe. Yeah. I love Toad. Like Toad is like, I don't know him as well as you guys, but he's been very cool to me the couple times I met him, and he's on X and he's doing his thing. I just think it's crazy that people have these reactions to really anything, especially language. I know there's been programming and conditioning to cause that. I wonder if there are people who are there with bigger accounts who are trying to start off let's attack this guy to try to get the plebes behind them to follow. Because I often think that that's the case with a lot of these social media fights is you have these big accounts who are some sort of paid operative to stir up division. And they know all these other people are going to follow along. And I wonder if that is part of what's going on here with the
I don't
attacks
know.
again.
I
That
used to have
tweet-
my doubts about
This tweet here, David, this one here that this guy said, it's got 110,000
What does
likes
say?
on it.
Can you scroll up?
The one that he wants to ruin Toad's
Wokeness
life.
needs to come back. Who is this guy, Western Kabuki? Does he have any sort of?
He's got a YouTube show or something,
20K,
but
I think followers. I don't know.
yeah, there's 1.9 million views, but 113,000 likes on it. I don't know
Well,
what
what's
that
really
means.
crazy is that none of these people see the irony in liking and sharing and empathizing with a post that effectively says, we don't have the power anymore to control other people, and I really wish we did.
He's in
That's
a
all you're
gaming
saying
chair
there.
too. Sorry to interrupt. He's in a gaming chair. It like looks like a bedroom of an. It's just like
He
it's-
looks. If you look him in the face, he looks. And it's
He's
like
wearing pajama pants.
he's wearing pajama. What about this is fucking threatening?
and
What
they're going
about
after
this
him.
is telling you that you know what it really screams to me because of
He's
all the white people
pale.
that are getting upset? Black people don't give a fuck about or Nazis. They don't give a single fuck about Nazis. Unless you're talking about like the Black Israelites, they care a lot because they're like crushed and we're the real. And that and that's
Right,
funny.
yeah.
I'll give them that. But otherwise, Black people really don't think about like how they go, oh, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? I don't know, sometimes I guess. And if you go to Black people, how often do you think about the Holocaust? Fucking never. Absolutely
never.
zero. It's never on their minds.
They might call them deniers, even you could be called a white supremacist if you remind Black people about the Tuskegee experiment back during If you don't remind them enough about back in whatever the story is, then maybe you're a white supremacist there. I think what they have is an army of people that people like Stacey Abrams trains, that go to Spelman, that go to these HBCUs, who are designed to be activists. And I think their whole purpose is to get offended. They're trained in this identity politics where they learn that they achieve by losing and playing the victim, and that's how they get moved up. Basically, how many people can you organize to act against their own best interest around, look at me, I got oppressed, I'm just like you. And then they go code switch when they're talking like Jasmine Crockett and Stacey Abrams does all the time. And then you have the real like working class black people who are like, fuck all this shit.
Yeah, they're not thinking about it at all. There is it's almost like baked in debate tactics in the way that they know what to get mad at, like what the sacred cows are, and then everything else just doesn't matter at all. The reason I say it's like debate tactic is because I was watching a video my wife was playing where some black lady is shaming people who think maybe the gym outfits have gotten a little too out of hand. Like, you know, you go to a gym and you could see like this bitch's butthole, and the way the shorts are stitched, like the stitching is done in such a way that their ass eats all their
and she's on that machine just opening her up right
it's
wide
crazy.
open. It's
just fucking wafting. And so you know, somebody came out on TikTok and they said, look, maybe it's gone a little bit too far. Now this is where that kind of factory setting kicks in for some people, where fat black women know inherently that they're supposed to stand up for other women, right? So within, especially with women, this is a thing that happens a lot. And one of the things that showed me that was like another woman came on and she tempered everything she was about to say with, I know that I'm supposed to be on the side of the girls here, but just hear me out. And then all she went on to say was like, maybe we've gone too far with some of the gym clothes because it's fucking weird. But you had to temper that. You had to say, because it goes against your programming, I know that I'm supposed to be a girl's girl. It's the same thing for like the black community, where they have their talking points. They're supposed to engage in these identity politics. But when you see them on other important topics, they don't really care about them because they're busy working and trying to, you know, going to the store for milk and finding your way back home. Like, there's a lot of things that are on the table that take precedent over that, but they still have their default programming that they fall onto.
Which is what they rely on. They want to trigger those stereotypes. And I think that a lot of that has broken. Speaking of the taboos breaking and the whatever, the window changing, is not progressive, but friends of mine who are black but always very reasonable, who voted Democrat because that's just what they learned to do, voted for Trump. And it's because they looked at this other side, and I don't want to be a fucking white dude for Harris or a black dude for Harris. That's the gayest shit ever. And like you're saying, it's cracking that I know I'm supposed to do this, but I just can't this time. You guys have gone too far. I don't know if it's crazy. So like, I think everything's a psyop sometimes. And so like, I'm like, it just seems so over the top bad when it comes to what the Democrats do with their messaging, that it's like, how can you be that out of touch?
Yeah, it's almost like your party could do a thing to galvanize you to their movement, but the most effective thing is when the opposition does something so obtuse that it by default galvanizes you to whoever. So in this case, the Republican Party or the right. It makes sense that there's a pendulum swing that takes place organically. You could observe it from one administration to the next. It swings from left to right. But it feels like this time they're boosting the swing, because Top and I talk about it. A lot of we engage in a lot of like the racial, you know, dialogue, because it's very funny. And it's also fun to do it when you've been told for so long that you can't do it.
Right.
That being said, I recognize that there was like a previous pressure cooker effect where they quelled the discussion around race, or they quelled the discussion around the black community. They quelled the discussion around, I might be making up a word when I say quelled. They suppressed the conversation around even like the Jewish thing. And now you're watching all that shit blow up. And I got to ask myself, like, would this ever be as aggressive of a conversation if it wasn't suppressed previously?
It wouldn't at all. It's by by making it a thing, it becomes a thing, and it's what they give attention to is what is going to. It's called agenda setting theory of the media, where that's kind of shifted to the influencers, which now you see all these dipshits that used to be on CNN down in their basement wearing sweaters, pretending that they're like us and doing 8 jobs at once when really they have 18 people behind the wall in their house. Like, was it Joy Reid? There's a video of her. Somebody's bringing her coffee in her basement. Like, that's not how it works when you're a podcaster. People don't fucking bring you coffee and do all your shit for you. You do 18 fucking jobs at once, and like they're trying to steal that authenticity. But yeah, so they've seen that agenda setting theory shift to influential podcasters like Joe Rogan and many others, and they're trying to regain control of it. But what they give attention to, Bernays used to talk about this shit all the time. Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud's nephew, who also is the uncle of the guy who co-founded Netflix, one of the most prolific propagandists of the 20th century. And I made a video about this the other day. I have this book right here. So I think I saw Scott Adams here. Scott Adams, where did he get his propaganda? I'd like to know where he got his propaganda. And he got it from, I don't know what the fucking book is, but it's a book called Crystallizing Public Opinion, which was written by Edward Bernays in 1923. And a lot of people think about Bernays' book called Propaganda. That's not the best one. The best one is the Crystallizing Public Opinion. If he breaks down like how he manipulates society, and he talks about whispering in the ears of producers, specific tactics, how to cause racial division, how to appeal to certain groups, how to put certain type of leaders in front of other groups to just basically the puppet masters behind the string. And this book, he brags in another book that he wrote, which is his autobiography called Biography of an Idea, about how Goebbels, however you say his name, had this propaganda library, and that Goebbels told one of Bernays' friends, which is just a British journalist, he came back and told Bernays about this, that the propaganda operation against the Jews of Germany was based on Edward Bernays' Crystallizing Public Opinion book. Edward Bernays, who's an American, and by the way, also bragging about that.
Yeah. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like the exact same thing is happening today, but an elongated play. So much of what we talk about on the show is how, like, whatever happens after World War II, we take over these scientists in Operation Paperclip. They create all these institutions that are massively influential. They help shape the direction of the country. And it seems like they help shape it in the direction where it's landed today. It seems like the propaganda arm of the regime was so sophisticated that when we took over those scientists, we tried to emulate it. And I think we did. And I think we did it bigger and better. I think it birthed all of our MK Ultra programs, all these sort of trauma-based mind control programs. And I think it informed all the decisions that we made to leading up today, where we have not only this gigantic propaganda machine, right, that engineers public perception, but also I think it's got to do with the war on drugs and getting us to this point where now we're legalizing marijuana. And marijuana has such a high THC threshold now, and they've sacrificed so much of the CBD because the industry is trying to make fucking Frankenweed, that we're all now inundating ourselves with propaganda, and we're all on low-grade psychedelics. And so, you know, we've coined this term on the show where I look at us like free-range MK Ultra victims. Instead of being strapped in a chair with your eyeballs peeled open, you're now just doing it to yourself. And I think all of that shit
we're funding
comes from
it regime quite often. Yeah, but we're always surrounded by it. We're looking at our phones. These are all points of contact that all the propagandists would write about. Every single point of contact, a billboard on a bus, the wall of a bathroom. But now we're putting all these points of contact right to our face. And Bernays 100 years ago wrote about, you know, the rise of cinema and how powerful it is because it gives you the ability to whisper in someone's ear yet speak to the entire world. And so what we see with social media right now is like his wet dream, is your ability to just drive people crazy any time that you want. Now there's good parts about it too. I don't think all this stuff is completely controlled. I think they put it out there and they try to rein it in. So I think the whole thing for me is just like recognizing that these are used to manipulate us and checking ourselves when we're getting emotionally charged up about something, because that's what they try to do to us. And taking a breath and then finding the good in it, the connections. Like we get together to do a show, we meet all these people on social media, because I think they can be defeated like that. And a lot of people get black-pilled about they see these people as this monolithic power structure with the head of Klaus Schwab, or that new guy with the weird fucking eye who's of the World Economic Forum. But like the best advice I ever got for I'm an actor. I've done a lot of weird, stupid acting stuff. But one of the best things, pieces of advice I got for going into auditions is when you go into an audition, because you're nervous, you're trying to win the approval of these people on the other side of the table, is those motherfuckers are fucking pussies. You just look at them as fucking pussies, and you go in and you act like that so you can do your job of doing the audition. That's how I look at all these they're fucking humans, and they're fucking pussies, and they can't fucking do some cohesive, they're just bullshit pussies who are probably far more out of touch than we are. And I think that the beauty in recognizing the propaganda and all the manipulation, which that is an awakening that has happened. People are more aware that they're the target of manipulation, is that the illusionary barrier that surrounded you, that told us we couldn't achieve things and do certain things our entire lives unless we check certain boxes, is gone. It fucking fades away. You can do anything you fucking want.
Yes. Yeah. It took a long time for me to learn that. But it's become more and more obvious the further I go. One of the things that Top told me early on in this show's development was you're going to meet a lot of people and you're going to find them all pretty unremarkable. And that's been the case, dude. It's like you meet person after person who's supposed to be this gatekeeper or this thing or that thing, and you go, this is just a regular fucking dude.
Right.
Regular dude. I have a question for you, and it's been informed by the discussion we just had, but we have to I guess break the news to the pores that we will no longer be streaming to Rumble, to Twitter, and to YouTube. So there's only two places where you continue enjoying this show, and that is either patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad, or you can go over to Brad Binkley's channel and support him. And if you're there and you're not subscribing, then and that is a disappointment. Head on over to either patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad, continue enjoying this discussion, or head over to Brad's channel and you could do the same there. Otherwise, we're out, guys. So the question that I wanted to ask you, Brad, was it seems like we're on the same page. Everybody here can agree that much of the propaganda that we fall victim to now was designed by the regime, and then it stands to reason that it is one and the same, considering we took them over in Operation Paperclip. Isn't it interesting?
According to Bernays, it was designed by him.
Well, I mean, they took Bernays,
right,
and then they tried to implement it. So I would say that the Nazis were the first ones to actually implement it.
On a wide scale.
Yes. So
it's interesting how they're like, it's like, I'm trying to understand the pattern, because if you think that it's like, you know, doing one thing and then there's a reaction to it, that's like the first step, and it's a possibility. But the more I think about it, the more it seems like, all right, so you had World War I that was started on by some sort of bankers, right? Some banking elite. Starts off with an assassination, all goes crazy downhill. Germany ends up becoming the Weimar Republic. I mean, Germany eats shit, but it's like it's done on purpose. They're forced to pay for all of the economic calamities of the war. And then the Weimar Republic is what it is, and we know what it is. And then that's all pointed and blamed at. And then we look at America today, and it's like very Weimarish. People will say that all the time, unironically. And it just feels like we've been here before. Like we're doing. It feels like the regime did this entire thing. They used the as a scapegoat, built a pretty strong nation, and then abandoned it. They said like this, maybe they decided this isn't going to work. We're still in the middle of Europe, in the middle of everything. It's a disaster.
It almost felt like they knew they couldn't. The only chance they had, look, if we wanted to get Hollywood about it, right? The only chance we have at pulling off this fucking, plot of ours is to go underground for 100 years and then come back up under a new fucking flag and do it all again. And that's why it's
look
strange
around
to
you.
me.
Look around you. Doesn't it feel like that?
They're making you jerk off. I'm not saying that that's not true. But I'm saying that it's strange that here we go again. But look, it feels like the world's about to mobilize for the fucking. And
look at this. Look at today. Look at today, David. This is what I'm saying. Like it's serendipitous, and it's almost like if I wasn't such a conspiracy theorist, I guess I wouldn't correlate the two. But you have Ye dropping this album or dropping this single, which actually cancels out this latest thing that everyone doesn't remember. No one remembers Shiloh LaBeouf or whoever the fuck this bitch was that called the kid, the N word in the park. No one remembers that.
I
But
thought
that
you
was
meant
just like,
nobody remembers Kanye sucking his cousins. Because I was like, it
That
also
either.
did do. Yeah, dude. I'm like, don't even
or
care
him,
about
he's
your cousin's
defending
dick
Diddy.
now.
I don't know the whole Diddy story. He gets a trial, but he also made a bunch of posts where he was like, Diddy's innocent and shit.
yeah, free Diddy. Like I don't know what the hell that's about.
I like that, even though I think Diddy is a rapist and all these other different things, which is more than likely true. I just like it's all so funny. I got even if Kanye is the bad guy in this, he has made this the most entertaining villain arc I've ever seen.
He does the opposite of everything.
You guys can go to toplobster.com, get your Diddy Defender shirt if you
Diddy didn't
really
do
want
it.
to
Hashtag
be
Diddy
about
didn't
it.
do it.
He's got
Diddy
the
probably
tiny,
get
you
it.
should be doing the courtroom sketches, Top. They're hilarious. Like his face. I don't know how you can make his face any closer together than it actually is, but some of them.
It is weird. It's very narrow. It's all right
he
here,
looks
like a landing
one
strip
of
of
those
a
creepy
face.
snap filters is what he looks like.
Yes. Yeah, he's a horrifying dude. But
He
all
looks
right,
like
so
wait, but we're still not like so this is all happening, right? And it's
Can I
like
say something about World War I? Can I respond to that real quick? Because you were saying something about World War I. So World War I was like the British totally manipulated us into World War I. They had the Wellington House propaganda organization over there led by Lord Northcliffe, and they sent these sleeper cells. We were neutral. We didn't want to go into the war at the time, and Woodrow Wilson had won re-election on the promise to not get us into war, only to a few months later get us into war. But they sent these sleeper cells all over the world. To one of them was H.G. Wells. I think he went to France or something like that. We got Sir Gilbert Parker, who came over here, and their job was to go target the intellectuals, the academics, and the celebrities in this country, because they were the influencers of the time, and to whisper in their ear. And they knew they would welcome the Sirs in because they were all famous literary people. They were writers that were well respected around the world, and they knew that the dumb Americans would welcome the lords and the dukes to their parties, and they would just listen to everything they said about what was going on when it comes to the Brits and the war and why we needed to support them. And meanwhile, Sir Gilbert Parker, he's going to these parties, he's talking to these celebrities and these academics. He's coming back and he's writing letters to Lord Northcliffe, talking about how gullible and stupid all of the Americans are for believing all of the shit that he's saying. It's this British Empire. I halfway think that we never broke free from the 11th Revolutionary War. That they just kind of got another content with the way that whole thing went down. But the Brits manipulated us into World War I. There's an argument they manipulated us into World War II.
That is true, because I mean, so after the Revolutionary War, Alexander Hamilton, the first thing he does when he's appointed to the Treasury is start to create a national bank, which then accrues debt from the British. So it's like, I mean, we broke away from them and then immediately owed them money. We never went away from them. It's insane to think about, and it's insane to celebrate him as a hero, but it's actually accurate to have his name under the Boston Federal Reserve Plan for CBDC's it's called the Hamilton Initiative or something like that, the Hamilton Plan. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly that.
It's like when we see the way the news is manipulated now, which has become so apparent to most people now, and then you think about what we know about history, how close is any of it?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, at the very least, that film, what the hell is it called? Not Occupied. That's the Stu Peters documentary. What's the other one? Europa did. Now, I think it's primarily running damage control for the regime and for, but it's using a shit ton of truth to do it. And that's the problem with this sort of information, is when you find out you've been lied to. And I've been saying that too. It's like when you find out you've been lied to, you jump to the opposite conclusion. Then it's like, if we misunderstood a shit ton about, or not misunderstood, if we were misinformed about a shit ton regarding World War II, then that must mean he's based and he's the shit. And it's like people are jumping to that conclusion in a wild way right now.
Totally, and no, you're right. Is that a psyop that's on purpose? And I can always have.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it a psyop? Right. Because if you look at what Kanye's doing right now, and if you look at the conversation surrounding the right now, and if you look at the whole thing that we laid out with Operation Paperclip, it makes you feel like it was a long ass con.
David, it's not just that. This is what I'm trying to get at. So Kanye releases this album, and like I said, so that Shiloh lady, tensions were high with the white and the black community. he releases this single, and nobody remembers it. Everyone is talking about this. And this, as much as you want to say like this might offend black people, this song was made directly at the. Not one day later, Trump announces, or at least the people in the White House announced, that he has cut off ties and talks with Bibi Netanyahu. So we have gone, and it's escalated further. He's taking gifts from Qatar. He's even I think he's spoken with he's spoken with Saudi Arabia, I believe, for the normalization of nuclear bombs or nuclear weapons in their country. And one of the stipulations had to be that they had to have a good working relationship with Israel. That's no longer the case. There's no reason to go back and take that off of the docket unless something is seriously wrong. But he's went full clip and removed anything pro-Israel, which before, just a few months ago, there, you could look up the memes. They were calling Donald Trump. They were saying that he converted to, and I'm like, maybe, but the Q stuff sounds a little bit more correct now. Like, we're saving Israel for last.
When we were talking about all this, people kept coming to me because I'm politically, and they would come to me and they go, because I would say Trump is going to turn on Israel at some point, because I look at all this through like theater and prophecy, and people would come to me and say, how the fuck is that going to happen? Have you not seen? They give him the crown, they give him the coin, they fucking sing songs about him.
Millions of dollars, but it's funny, and he just was like, thanks for the money, bitch, and they just did whatever he wanted.
When they say, how is that going to happen if he loves him? I would go, I don't fucking know. But at some point he's going to turn on him if this is what I think we're seeing. And then sure enough, here it is. So even when people get upset where they're like, oh, that's not the case right now, it's like, there is a will and there's a way. And this motherfucker is going to turn on them some way, shape, or form. I don't know if we're seeing that right now, but it sure looks like it.
I don't even think he has to fully turn on them. I think that a reasonable response instead of what we see with he ran on the platform of ending wokeness and all, all the isms and all that. Then he turns around and you have this anti-Semitism task force, which is exactly what he ran on. It's the exact same thing as the other shit. And so that level of unreasonableness creates that reaction we're talking about. So I think him having a reasonable response, and I think him negotiating to get an American soldier, not American soldier, but an American back from Hamas, that to me is a reasonable thing to do. We shouldn't have to go through Israel to get our own people back. And I also think that doesn't mean that he's going against Israeli people. I feel bad, honestly. I have a lot of Jewish friends that they are just, they have been propagandized into believing that Nazis are going to come after them. And I'm like, you're watching the wrong network, man. It's not like people are like you guys said earlier, they're reacting against a taboo, doing something they told that they can't do. They don't give a shit about unless you do something to them, they don't care. And you're everybody I know who's Jewish is cool, but except Bibi Netanyahu, who's a total fucking and has a fucking statue on his desk because he wanted to make his country into nation and begged Dr. Fauci to come fucking test on his people. And my friends who at first would be like, Israel has our values. I was like, is that our fucking values to beg to be tested on, to have the worst lockdowns more so than anybody else, to beg to have another country that we're in control of, have them to be fucking test rat experiments? That's not my values. And Bibi Netanyahu can go fuck himself. He's a fucking supervillain.
I don't typically look at a lot of average black people with any sort of negativity, unless of course it's like a video of them beating the shit out of somebody. But what I do realize is they've been the target of a unique type of propaganda, and that propaganda is this victimhood thing. And obviously there's a historical context under which they claim their victimhood status, but the black community, their victimhood status is a fucking bizarre one, because what it results in is them claiming to be fucking everything. Black people are the only ones that'll go not only we was Kangs, right? But you also have the Yakub thing where it's and by the way, we created white people. And then I saw recently where they're and by the way, we are gingers. Being a ginger is actually a black person.
Nice.
Then you have the black Israelites where they're we are the. Just recently, I saw a video where this guy is breaking down how the original Nazis were black people. And I'm like,
I saw that.
Whatever the fuck they've done to the black community is insane, because now we was everybody, fucking everybody. Black people were everybody. And I'm like, damn, dude, it's actually a huge case study in what happens when you strip away the identity of a people, and then you give them victimhood culture in replacement of an identity, and they just fucking spiral. That or they're having a lot of fun with it. Honestly, because it could be very fun, right? Like I love the idea of being like, they've hidden our history from us. Let's just claim to be everything. Who gives a fuck anymore? And I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. I do like
whenever I'm around black people, there'll be something that, like, if they're saying something, I'm not all the way over there yet. I'll be like, what's going on? And they'll just be like, oh, nothing. I'm like, oh, it's because I'm white. And I just I just walk out of the room. It's just have some fun with it. But there is also this controlling culture that has been established through society throughout probably the beginning of this country of a disempowering of victimhood nature. If everybody feels like a victim and they blame everything that happens in their life on something outside of them, which the government can, we will fix it for you, then the solution will always come in a government controls them, and it will never come in the form of them being able to get up and go do it themselves. It's why they were calling. I used to play this clip from the Council on Foreign Relations a couple of years ago where this former CIA agent was talking to the other panelists going, people who can their own corn are 2 steps away from white nationalism because they don't want people, it's crazy. They don't want people being able to live off the land.
Yeah. I remember seeing an article that came out where it was like fitness is white supremacy adjacent or something like that, and I'm like, they're just giving fucking white people all the best shit. It's like owning a home is fucking white people behavior. A family, an enclosed family unit with a mother and a father and happy children is white supremacy. Like, that's where shit was going. And I don't think that black people ever actually, I don't know, on one hand, I recognize they have this victimhood mentality, but then on the other hand, I feel like they actually don't care too deeply about these things at all. They don't.
There's something that's ingrained in humankind, like this survival mechanism where I understand what blacks are doing and the pitfalls that they keep falling in. It's like when you identify with the collective, you are safer. You're in a group. When you don't, like, I don't really identify with the collective, so I'm kind of out there on my own. It's pretty dangerous if you don't have the wherewithal to stand on your own. So a lot of these people who aren't deep thinkers or, I don't know, smarter people, their only choice is to identify. And when you do, now you have allowed the narrative of like, well, they're doing this, right? They're creating the pornography industry. I like to ask the question, what is it? Because nobody can seem to answer. Is like, is this a cultural thing? Is this a religious thing? Is this a genetic thing?
It's a tunnel thing.
Is it a tunnel thing? It's definitely a tunnel thing.
Great connective tissue is the tunnel thing.
But I'll tell you the truth, though. Everybody fucking loves tunnels. If you say you don't like tunnels, you're a liar.
Right.
Honestly, if Brad said I have a tunnel, I'd be like, fucking, we're coming to hang out in your tunnel,
tunnel
right now. You got a good picture of that tunnel? Because I'd like to see that tunnel.
Love me a good tunnel, dog. I mean, my old house had a basement, and I was like, that's like my tunnel. I fucking loved the basement. Something about being like slightly underground.
Underneath, you're like,
like
you're doing
it makes you
on like a dirty mattress.
Yeah, right.
Something about it.
The dirtier the better. The bloodier and dirtier the better.
Stained mattress.
But the point is that it's like, I understand why they're collectivizing because it's very dangerous. But they're also allowing themselves to be collectivized, and then also allowing these people who are doing these bad things to like fly under their banner. So now they have to defend it. Now
they're branded as the worst of them.
Yes, exactly. So you've got guys like Dave Smith, which I always pick on Dave because he's the best, I think, he's the best of the
He's the best that the have to offer.
The best and the worst of Jews. Yeah,
he's got a lot of tunnels.
He's to trust me, his home in Jersey, the tunnels galore. But he constantly misses the Kanye West thing because it points at the Jewish thing and he reacts I wouldn't say emotionally, but he reacts collectively, which is sad because he is the guy. He's the libertarian, the individualist. And once Ye does this performative art thing that is pointing correctly at these people and doing an effective job at sweeping their leg, like he has taken away the word. He's going to make cool for black people. He's going to make the swastika a logo for black people and completely demean what it means for the Jewish community or for the people.
You know what I'm really about? I know what's coming though. The black people are going to take it and they're going to be like, there's 2 versions of it. There's a with the ER and then there's, and if we catch you saying the other version, we're going to fucking beat your ass.
Damn, Dave.
Yeah, we're going to beat your fucking ass if we catch you using that hard R, bro. That's exactly what's coming. So enjoy it while it lasts, baby.
Yeah. La with an A is that's the
Hitler.
black people stuff. The
Yeah,
ER is
Hitler,
like that's the white people like, oh, you mean like, round up the we're not talking about that. We're talking about watermelon. Like that kind of
Hitler,
shit.
baby. Yeah, it's like
Anyway,
a much cooler time. It's
but
much more
Dave
laid
misses
back.
it. Dave misses it because he has collectivized himself in the Jewish community, and I understand why. Because when people are saying that they're going to look at Dave because he is whatever the fuck that means, and they're going to correlate that with George Soros and the things that he's doing. It's like, yo, you guys need to differentiate. You need to separate. You need to define what this is. And it's like, but then that gets into the question of the
They
chosen
don't
people.
define shit though. They don't ever do, like the propagandists. They never define shit. They keep it vague so they can manipulate it and apply it in different ways. If they defined it, it would isolate, and there would be concrete examples of it, and they wouldn't be able to use it as well.
That's
Exactly.
why you
But
can't answer what a woman is.
they don't want to, and this is their downfall. This is the downfall. They don't want to define it because then when you start to define it, you have to get into like, I don't know, ancient Babylonians, Khazarians. You have to get into like these bloodlines. Who are these bloodlines? Are some of these people lizard people? Probably. Are some of them Nephilim? Most definitely.
Yeah.
But then if you start to say, well, I'm the because my mom took the religion because she married somebody, and now I'm Jewish because she became Jewish religiously. And a couple generations down the line, like this makes no sense. But that means that you're not of the chosen bloodline. Like that's what it's all about. Like it's from the bloodline of Adam
Abraham.
to David
so
to Abraham.
separates it out like a black person versus a mixed racial black person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody wants to be ADOS was an American descendant of slaves, right? Or maybe now they want to be Haitian because now if you're like something else like that, this is the cool thing to be. If you started to differentiate with Jews, a lot of them would lose that chosen people status.
Yep.
That's a problem for them. But guess what? When it comes time that people buy this propaganda and start rounding people up, what are you gonna call yourself? You've been calling yourself a for the longest time, but what are you?
Catholic,
yeah, like
Jesuit motherfucker.
Start differentiating. Like, who are the people that are actually doing the wrong? Because they're of a specific bloodline, 100%. They are aimed at something, and it's continuous throughout generation. Like they all have the same. They have the same propaganda. They have the same goals, and there's no way that goes throughout. I don't know, like 2,000 plus years. No one person has the same goal for 2,000 years. There's a higher entity or a lower entity behind this that is moving this.
so
So
really old vision board somewhere in a tunnel.
Yeah. It's a big tunnel. It's a strange time too because
and you're not invited.
as all this is coming to a head, where whatever that head looks like, we're seeing like these institutions falling away. Like in the middle of this, there is a big switcheroo happening where legacy media is pretty much dead. It's effectively dead. It's like a walking corpse now. And now we have the rise of alt media, like the second wave of alt media, because the first wave got captured in so many ways. It looks like Rogan's platform may be captured. What's this other guy? I forget who the hell. Tim Pool just got, he's now associated with the White House, whatever the fuck is going on there. And now it's a weird time for the truth because more and more people are looking to like this new wave of alternative media. I would say in some ways, Tripoli on Tinfoil Hat is like the tip of that spear because he's been established for so long. I don't think Tripoli's never gotten fucking, I don't know. I feel like he's never gotten a call. I feel like the CIA just for some reason has never bothered to fuck with Tripoli.
I feel like they called him, but Tripoli
like they never called him.
He's like,
Who
who is
didn't
this?
recognize the numbers, so they didn't.
Yeah, I think that,
Yeah, they're like, this
they
guy,
probably
you
did
can't
call
fucking-
him, and he just went on a bunch of tangents about unrelated shit, and they went, never mind, just stop fucking calling this guy because he's not picking up what we're putting down. We're trying to threaten him colloquially.
They're offering
so like
him
the
shit.
collectivism you were talking about. So they have these groups they want to collectivize under, and then so they want to collectivize them under influencers they can get control over. They can co-opt, and I don't know that co-option would always be direct. I think in some cases it probably is, but I think anybody who gets a large enough following is going to. There's going to be attempts anyway of co-option. Maybe not successful. In fact, probably not successful a lot of the time. But that's why, for me, it's like they want you to not think about the information. They want you to latch on to the person delivering it to you. and that determined whether or not you believe or trust it. And that is a complete opposite way to evaluate what's going on in the world. The way you evaluate is everybody fucking gets shit wrong. Most people don't do it on purpose. Some people do. Some people they have the philosophy of the best way to hide a lie is in between two truths, and they're intentionally manipulating you. But most people are going to get things wrong unintentionally, and that is why even the most honest people that you're following will tell you things that aren't right sometimes. So just analyze the content of the information, and that separates the power from the person delivering it. I tell people all the time, I might be fucking wrong. Don't trust me. Analyze the content of it. Let me know if I got shit wrong. And that's how I try to look at shit, because then I'm not at the mercy of somebody who might be co-opted.
I think my radar for individuals is poor. My radar for information is good. My radar for individuals, I think, it can be pretty faulty. And one of the examples is I met Laura Loomer. And when I say I met her, like I was at an event that she was at. Beautiful woman.
She actually is very pretty in real life. It's crazy.
Yeah. She had a nose job because she had a honker on her, I think, at one point.
But the thing is, like when she's on camera or in a picture, her face looks way bigger and she looks like, but when I was standing right next to her, like we were at it wasn't even an event. It's a friend's house and she was there hanging out, and she's like tiny. She is so unassuming.
On camera, she looks like a sleep paralysis
fucking
demon.
monster.
She looks like she just got out of an MMA fight on camera.
Yes. But in real life, very petite and not unattractive.
I would
say she's pretty.
And she's a perfect example, because there's a lot of things she's reported that have been right, but there's also stuff that she's done that has just been total bullshit.
Well, before I didn't have much of an opinion of her. I saw the internet say all these crazy things. She's a goblin. She's this. She's that. She's evil incarnate. And then I ended up meeting her. I said, very underwhelming. Seems like a normal chick. She does not curb that Palestine shit. Like while she's there, she's like, yeah, they all deserve to die. I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, damn, bro.
Which I really like that about her, because I'm like,
kind of hot now.
Yeah, dude. I was like, honestly, I respected that shit a lot. And so after the party was over, I said, I don't know. People tend to blow things out of proportion. Then I watched a video of Isaac Cappy talking about Cernovich, Laura Loomer, and like one other motherfucker as like being actual operatives, actual paid ops that are engineering culture. And
it's interesting.
I don't know. I
mean,
mean,
Cappy made that video.
Have you seen it? You never seen it?
No, I've seen it. Yeah.
Top. If you could find up, like, type in Isaac Cappy Laura Loomer or Isaac Cappy Loomer. And he says it outright. And then I'm forced to do something. I'm like, is Isaac Cappy, who's dead, is he being hyperbolic, or does he know some shit? And if he knows some shit, then like I'm forced to analyze my radar, because like I said, I tend to treat individuals pretty gracefully. It's like the only time my suspicion is lent to an individual is if they're really, really high, like a Alex Jones or something. And even with Alex Jones, I'm like probably a fed, but I like him a lot. And so I'm wondering, like, oh, this is it. Yeah, there we go. Here, bring that up top.
All over the place. Jack Posobiec, Gabe Hoffman, Mike Cernovich, Laura Loomer. Gabe Hoffman is running ops on people. He is a bad guy, dudes. I look like I've seen a ghost. Yeah, I have. And someone that was very close to me, I'm pretty sure they were just there to infiltrate me. These are really fucking bad people.
Well, I think this is fairly, I mean, I believe it. I think that all these guys are like co-opted to a certain level. Like we even saw Ian Miles Chong. Do you remember the whole thing with the food stamps for Coca-Cola or some shit like that? And all these influencers started posting pro Coca-Cola tweets, and it was all the same.
Oh yeah, the Sodagate or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah,
dude, that happened so fast that I didn't even.
Yeah,
I don't even know what happened.
Too.
Yeah, it's like, well, what? But this shit happens all the time, and I feel like these dudes are just floating paycheck to paycheck. It's like they'll take. So, what are you taking the money for? What are you taking it for? Who are you taking it from? Do you even know? Like Tim Pool's taking money from Russia, and he didn't even know it. He was like, so he said.
That's a good point. And I always go back to Bernays, because I call him the father of the ship. There's a bunch of other ones too, like a bunch of really great books of these elitists, just dissecting all the propaganda of World War I and World War II, documenting the fake atrocity stories that each country made up and recycled from previous wars. Bernays, in another book of his, he brags about how the American people fell for all these atrocity stories about babies getting murdered. He just openly brags about it in his book and shit. But like, he talked about how you want people to do it without them realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, because it's like harder to have a whole bunch of people in on something than it is to convince a whole bunch of people to carry your message without realizing that it might be against their best interests and the best interests of those who are following them. It's interesting. So I agree about Jack Sobiech. I mean, he was an intel operative in the military. And Cernovich, so he has some good information sometimes, but I was always suspect to him because I did a lot of Epstein research before most anybody did. And I went to law school, and so I talked to the lawyers of the lawyer of one of the victims, or a couple of the victims, and I did case law search engine searches that you can't find on regular Google searches. You still can't find them. And so that stuff all got taken down from the internet one time already, years ago. And so when Cernovich was the guy who unsealed things with the Miami Herald, which wrote a total whitewashing, it was a limited hangout when they revealed the Epstein stuff. When the Clintons were out of the spotlight and they could make it a Trump scandal is when it became in the spotlight. That's what it was. And the lawyer of some of the victims, like, straight up told me in an email, and I think he might have told the guy from the Conscious Resistance also in a video, I think he also talked to him, that the only person who did not avoid his deposition during his case, all these other elites, Ghislaine Maxwell, all these other ones, they found ways to get out of it, was Trump. He called him up, he talked to him, because I went in researching this thinking they were both pedophiles, me. And then he said Trump didn't have anything to do with it, and this guy was actively suing Trump for something else. It wasn't like they were buddies, but it was funny because Ghislaine Maxwell told him she couldn't come to the deposition because she was going home to take care of her sick mother in the UK, and she was never coming back to the States, only a couple months later to be pictured at Chelsea Clinton's wedding, which people have seen that image by now. But when there's a plea letter, and I've been talking about this a lot lately because of the what's the guy's name who pretends he's doing investigating journalism but just bangs dudes and films it?
James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe.
Yeah.
There's not a guy in the country that he wouldn't get banged by to get to the truth.
Right.
And so he's doing these stupid things where he's all dramatic. I'm going into fucking hiding. I'm like, he's not going to release anything because all these people, either they don't know how to find some of this stuff, and they're just doing PR stunts, which could possibly be the case, could just be grifting, or they're intentionally diverting people because they all avoided. I'm talking about Miami Herald. I'm talking about Cernovich. I'm talking about, what's his name from Veritas, a plea letter that was part of, we've seen pieces of the document where it talks about how he helped create the Clinton Global Initiative, but most people haven't seen all of that document. I have all of that document because I went and found it on the case law search engine that you have to pay for, and I was directed to it by the lawyer years ago, and I went and found it again recently. And that plea letter is what got him the deal. And it lists the people. Here are all my powerful friends and institutions I work with. Most of them you know who are connected to them. Bill Clinton, multiple times, is mentioned in this letter. Trump's not mentioned in it. Bill Clinton is multiple times. There's a guy who does research at Harvard who ended up getting his the thing that he led, the research institute over there, taken away, and he was suspended for a couple years. The Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Rockefeller Institution. These are all the people I've done work with and why you should give me this deal, and that is what got him the deal. And then there's one guy that nobody's ever fucking heard of that is probably the most powerful of all of them, who has never been publicly questioned about his relationship with Epstein, who is in that letter, who it says in that letter Epstein funded the research of, the positive psychology research of, who is right now considered to be the most powerful psychologist in the country, the 10th most powerful of all time, because he is the guy who created the theory of learned helplessness. His name is Martin Seligman, Seligman, and he created that theory by torturing dogs into no longer trying to escape, even if the door is wide open, knowing they were going to get tortured again. And that theory is so influential and considered one of the most unethical of all time. It was the basis of the CIA black site and Guantanamo Bay torture program after 9/11. He had a meeting at his house in December of 2001, and there were CIA agents there, and according to this guy, Israeli intelligence, which a lot of people think Epstein was Mossad, so that's interesting. And by being in this letter, which you would never be in a plea letter. These things are common in law. You wouldn't include a president and these powerful people in a letter without getting their permission to do it. In fact, the other people included continued to defend Epstein afterwards. He's the only one who didn't be asked about it. A couple of years after that, he was given a $31 million contract through the Positive Psychology Center at the University of Penn, which was found to be doing MK research while this guy was doing his learned helplessness stuff there. And that Positive Psychology Center is what Epstein's lawyers were talking about Epstein funding. So the military gave a $31 million contract. That contract was for him to use this positive psychology to create psychological resilience, which was to brainwash soldiers into being able to kill without consequence and then be able to go sleep at night and not worry about it. That's what the program was. And the guy's never been questioned about it, probably because of his connections to the CIA and military contracts. And that's the Epstein bombshell everybody wants. That, I don't get as much of a reach as these people, so most people aren't going to hear it. But that's the one. And the guy is still, right now, operating that Positive Psychology Center, and he's doing research. He's the head of that center, and he's doing research on tribalism, on divide and conquer, basically, when you read it, on social media. Any of us could be the subject of his experiments on social media.
We're 100% being subjected to that right now if you look at Twitter. That's a much better example than what I source, which is the Cass Sunstein during the Obama administration, the cognitive infiltration aspect of things, where they're talking about infiltrating and steering conspiracy communities because of the threat that they pose. And that way you can sow disinformation. You could lead people to false rabbit holes or whatever. But I mean, that's even, I would imagine that one informs the other on that. And that is the crux of what they're concerned with when it comes to not only the propaganda machine, but I mean, what do you think about because you were talking before about how they kind of like whitewash these things. And when you said that, I thought about the Netflix documentary, where the Netflix documentary seems to like absolve what's her name, Ghislaine Maxwell, as just kind of a victim. Like, she did her thing, but she was a victim of Epstein too. And Epstein was the mastermind. Nothing about Maxwell's father, nothing like that whatsoever. And also, it wasn't children. It was like 17-year-old women. And I mean, obviously that's not true. But what do you think about the role that Epstein even played in this thing? Is he the mastermind that Netflix would have us believe, or is he just a little cog in a machine?
I doubt he's a mastermind. By the way, the reference I made earlier with one of the co-founders of Netflix, Edward Bernays' nephew. Yeah. Propaganda machine.
That's what so you said that before, and I was thinking about that. I was like, damn, dude, like all of this is just one big incestual propaganda circle.
Yeah. I doubt he's the mastermind of it. Another thing he talks about in his books is the people who are controlling the world are people you've probably never seen or heard of, which is one of the reasons I've been talking about this Martin Seligman guy a lot, this psychologist, because he's the only guy mentioned in this letter who his relationship with Epstein nobody knows about. He's never been questioned. He's never lost any money. In fact, he was rewarded with a $31 million contract after helping Epstein get off. And I can pull the document up and show it to you guys. I like to show the proof of it, because I know Ian Carroll might eventually discover it. That's right, and I just want to make sure to get it out there.
Let me tell you something. He's watching. He watches our shows. That way he knows which direction to go in as far as, the culture of conspiracy is concerned. That whole documentary was a joke. It was a joke, man. It downplayed everything. It reduced it to just like some teenage girls, and there was no talk about underage children or anything like that. I mean, like actual fucking children. Yeah, just some dumb college sluts.
So, that's like, and when you think about that, and you think about what this psychologist said, this theory of learned helplessness, which, by the way, I forget about this part. I don't know why. The manifesto of the fucking Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, was inspired by this dude's learned helplessness research. Kaczynski wrote a bunch of letters while he was in prison about how the American people are the dogs who have been there's learned helplessness has been created in them by the powers that be. And this is the guy who Epstein funded, who it's stated in the letter, who he gave money to. Wouldn't that be useful for someone who has a bunch of sex slaves who they know they're being tortured, and they could probably leave, but they choose not to because learned helplessness has been created within them?
That's an expansion on the idea of like what do you call it when you sympathize with your captor? There's a
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. So they
exactly.
took Stockholm syndrome and they made a whole fucking expanse out of it where they're using it to manipulate people. But I look at that right now. One of the things that's very popular to say is nothing ever happens, which is interesting because it's true, but it's also this admission in the sense of like, we obviously our judicial system is who holds people accountable, but I think that public pressure is the driving force behind holding people accountable in our judicial system. Now we exist in a paradigm where absolutely anything can happen, anything can be exposed, and nothing will fucking come of it, and we're all totally okay with it. And as far as I'm concerned, if you were to implement that idea of being captured, being tortured, but the door's open and you don't have to leave, if you implemented that at scale, what would that look like? It would look like a society that holds no one responsible for the trespassings against it.
Totally, and that's a tactic too. It's I think it was Churchill who talked about releasing bad news or stuff that makes you look guilty on your own terms. If it's going to get out anyway, if you can't control the information, then you choose when to release it. If you can release it under a flood of other different things and different distractions, which today they can totally maximize, then people will lose interest if you can direct their attention through agenda setting theory to something else. You're absolutely correct on that.
And we have that at least about us, where it's like every single time we really do. We're like a traumatized spouse almost. We're like,
totally do.
And a world event happens and it's like a hand gets raised and we fucking flinch. And our first reaction is, what else am I supposed to be looking at? If this is happening, something else must be happening that I have to take. And it's look, the only way that
battered
you
spouse
can
syndrome.
exactly what we have. The only way that you can engage with these ideas and I think not lose your fucking mind, and I think that's going to happen anyway, but is with comedy. We were talking about this the other day. Actually, I forget who the hell I was. Yeah, we might have been doing this show. If this rings a bell, let me know. But yeah, okay. So we were talking about how they will try to emotionally manipulate you, and much of the biggest disasters that have happened on the world stage, as far as things that have the American public is giving consent to, we got there by way of emotional manipulation. Whether it's the migrant crisis, and first you show us families who have their children ripped away from them. You show us children in cages. You emotionally wrench us, and then all of a sudden we're giving our blessing for this bill to be passed or that bill to be passed. Obviously, the school shootings make what you want of them. I think that they are an MK Ultra product, and I think that they're designed to emotionally wrench us. They use children constantly. We were emotionally manipulated into 9/11, or into the following wars in the Middle East. And so I've gotten to the point now where if I sense any attempt to manipulate me emotionally, I have to ridicule you and laugh at you now, which is kind of a fucked up place to be, because it turns all the most horrifying things into a joke. But I can't give you my emotion anymore because it's too much. The demand that they want you plugged in all the time. They want you freaking the fuck out, and that
so much
is
fucking
the goal.
energy.
Yes, it's a loosh, right? So they want you freaking the fuck out at all time. Your only defense against that is choosing not to. And I find that the best way is comedy. So, we could laugh about these things, but that's definitely the goal, is they want you freaked the fuck out at all hours of the day.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you have to mock it and make fun of it. I did the Libertarian convention. I did a show there this year, a couple months ago, and at the beginning of it, I told them, I was like, I know you guys like some of what Trump's doing, you dislike some of what he's not doing. I was like, how do you feel about everything going on in Palestine? Obviously, they didn't like it, and I was like, well, I was there at the national convention, I saw the signs, they said free Ross, not free Palestine. Free Palestine. You guys should have read the fucking fine print. If Ross was still in prison, there wouldn't be dead babies. It's your fault, libertarians. Your fucking fault for doing that. And it's like, you got to make fun of it. There's so many other wars and shit going on that it just.
How did they receive that joke?
It went over. It went pretty well. Some people, kind of the older people, kind of like, I don't think it was hip for them, but some of the
Well, I think you need a younger crowd to lean into that, because what happens is when you're older and you've dedicated time and resources and energy into this thing, eventually you cross over. And that's my fear with Dave Smith. Dave Smith is a funny guy, but I'm like, how do you stay funny? Because if you take this shit too seriously, it will corrode the funny bone to the degree that you'll never be fucking funny again, man.
That's why.
That's how they grab you and they wrench you around, is no, take that. You got to be serious about this.
No,
This is a very. It's
I
like,
think
no,
you should
fuck
never.
you.
I think you can be intense. I think you can take the subject seriously sometime. I mean, you should take it seriously to talk about it. But I think you have to inject humor and sarcasm. And I think you shouldn't take yourself too seriously when discussing it. Is kind of how I look at it. And I like. Did you guys see the fight? There was a fight this past weekend. The Palestinian prince. The Ultimate Championship fighting.
He
He came out with a Palestinian flag, and
Bilal?
then the guy
yeah.
talks, and it's like he sounds like he's fucking about to write you some code out in fucking San Francisco. The way I'm like,
hilarious.
this guy's not from he grew up in Chicago. His parents were Palestinian, and they're like the Palestinian Prince, the champion. I'm like, this is a fucking douchebag, and he's playing a Palestine song coming out, so he's clearly somebody's gotten to him. He didn't do that on his own, and they have helped him shape this persona of he is fighting in the ring for Palestine. And I'm watching this fight, and he was fighting against an Irish guy, which to me they all look the exact same. They all had their face beaten in square faces. Like I know they're fucking tough as shit, but man, I can't
Irish
tell. A lot
people
of
are actually black people, or they were originally black people.
right.
But
So
please,
I'm
go
like.
on.
They missed a fucking opportunity here. They should have had a Jewish guy fighting him who comes out with a fucking Jewish flag, and they're he's being carried out by tunnel or whatever, tunnel in the front. This would have been a real way to settle this battle.
That would have been a way to bring peace to the Middle East. I think.
Totally.
If we could settle all of our issues that way. That's why I like back in the day where I've been watching the Bible and what else was I watching? Oh, Troy. And obviously with the King David situation and Goliath, and then of course in Troy with Achilles and Hector, you have this like choosing of champions. Like I want to go fucking back to that, dude. Can we just choose some champions? Like, can we have a champion of the and a champion of Palestine and just have them fucking duke it out, and then whoever wins keeps the other people as slave for 200 years or whatever. Like I'm cool with that instead of this whole. It feels really like a
Choose
to-do,
your
right?
fighter,
It feels like it's very busy.
Yeah.
I wonder if we've gotten to a point where the end of the world will hit us and we will mock it. And
dude, that point was like last year, dog. This is what I'm saying. Like I've been mocking the end of the world and the devil to his face for quite a while now. And it's like, but what else am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to throw a Palestinian flag on my shoulders and like be really serious? They're going to drop those bombs no matter what I say or do. I guess I could just I can make the people, we can add some levity to the people around us, telling them the facts and the reality, and perhaps arming them with a way to keep their own mental sanity. Because I feel like maybe that's the most important thing. You're not really going to change the trajectory of how things are going here. They're going to do what they're going to do. But are they going to come out on the other side of that with a people that has lost their mind completely? Or are they going to come out on the other side of sane people who are looking them directly in the eyes and ready to say, what the fuck did you just do?
Yeah.
And you got Trump as the president at that time. Trump he might, the Jews, like he'll say fucking anything, and it's hilarious. And that's why a lot of people like him. But I think that fits in the theme of that you got to laugh at this shit in the face of this fucking otherwise terror.
That's why I'm hoping that me and my homies, it's gotten to the point where as like the asteroid is closing in on us, the very last audible sound you'll hear before this thing like punctures the atmosphere. I'm sure shit gets wonky when that happens, but it's going to be this resounding 1,000-man army going fake gay, and then fucking this thing's just gonna plow into us and take us out. I don't mind hilarious. It. I people get really upset, and it kind of brings us full circle to this whole Toad thing, right? Where it's like you can look at what Kanye West is doing and you can get all fucking worked up. How dare he? What about this? What about and then to the extent where you're so wrapped up in that behavior that when I don't know, when God wheels out a built backwards, like 4'7" fucked up pile of clay in front of you with a ukulele, and he plays this song, you fucking miss it. You miss it. You don't see how beautiful and how funny and how silly this is, how lighthearted it is. Totally, instead, you're so wrapped up that you decide to, I don't know, threaten to kill him.
It's and like, since we know Kanye will suck, Toad could be Kanye's next wife.
Oh my God. How
wearing
cool would
that
that
invisible dress.
What if all this time Toad's been a virgin because Kanye West is the right one.
Saving it. for
Wow.
ye.
All right. So yeah, guys, listen, if you come to Bohemian Grove, we're gonna make sure that Toad is wrapped in like some sort of shrink wrap. If we could wrap him in shrink wrap and have
only
him
keep like a hole on his butt open.
yeah, just
Yeah.
Hell
guys, this is what we were doing
Tunnel.
with this specific show.
Tunnel.
And Brad, I'm glad that you're taking part in it. You're going to be performing on day one, I believe, some stand-up comedy. But this is like
Yes. It's gonna be
like
fun.
we're going to talk about real shit, but we're going to have fun. And the people who are there, they get it. The people like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm excited for Brad to be out there because I think these are going to be his people. I think you're really going to like them, Brad. I think they're really going to get you, and I think you're going to feel at home.
I think so too. I'm looking forward to it, and I know Sam. He gave me a nod to you guys. I appreciate that. Sam's a great guy, and I've never seen Owen perform in person. I'm looking forward to that too. And seeing you guys also do your thing, especially Toad, dude. Toad with his killing it with his music.
I want to let everybody know how we want to close this out. This is for the audience. This is a little inside baseball. But what I'm hoping is, obviously, we have the musical whimsical talents of Toad, Tower Gang Toad. We also have Owen Benjamin there, who is a wizard at not only singing songs but playing the piano. These things are going to come together, guys. And I think we're going to close out the show. And I hope that the audience will join in, is provided that the venue owner says this is okay. I hope that the audience will join in singing Heil as we close out the event. Kanye West's Heil will be played at the very end by
I don't know why I think about this parallel, but it just makes me think like if the owner of the venue wasn't aware that was happening and he was walking into it happening, it would be similar to the Airbnb owner walking in on Bonnie Blue getting banged by 1,000 guys.
I think more fun.
I think worse. I think this is perceived as worse. Like
it is perceived as worse, which is fucked up because literally speaking, it's much worse to do Bonnie whatever the fuck. This is okay. This is fun. The owner of the theater is Jewish, so that might end up posing a little bit of a problem. I have to run it by him, and I'm being very serious. I am going to run it by him and say, "Look, man, you're cool, right? Hey, how cool are you?"
We've told him multiple times. We're like, listen, we engage in debaucherous comedy that crosses the line often. And he was like, I love that. Great. And I was like, I don't think you understand. Sit down. I was like, this is like, it's really bad. Like what we do. Like I'm embarrassed to even say it. Like
bad people.
Yeah. The last event we showed some guys in a hot dog to the entire crowd for 20 minutes. And then we judged it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was good.
And it was good.
Yeah,
he won.
We judged it as being good, and he won Cocktober. But yeah, I mean that's what we're. This
Shout
is
out Marshall Banana, but he was like, "I'm totally with it." I'm totally with that. I was like, I just don't.
What's
think...
crazy is you guys got people to send you pictures like that.
Oh, it's very easy. Have you ever asked anybody to send you pictures of their penis? You'll get them before this show is over.
Watch this, guys. Send Brad some pictures of your penis. He's gonna judge.
You don't
them.
have to if you don't.
Make them tasteful though, not like bad ones. Everything's red and stingy.
Don't send me some unclassy pics, guys.
No erections. That's gay.
Or girls.
Well, I mean, yeah,
well,
that's fine.
Girl
just no erections. That's fine. Guys, Bohemian Grove this fucking June 20th through the 21st. Go to progrove.com and get your tickets. Brad's gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. Top might be there. I don't know if he's gonna show up. It's gonna be a good time, or it won't. But either way, you'll be able to see. And the best part is, if we do end up getting stabbed for singing How on stage, you guys will get to see it live in theater.
It's not a joke. Like Owen Benjamin has been texting me and he's like, I want to do a duet with Toad. I want to sing this song with him. Will he do it? And I'm like,
yeah.
I just told him,
Toad
like,
sit on his shoulders like Elon Musk kid.
Oh my God. Play the ukulele on his shoulders as Owen plays the piano. And we just have like one mic stand and then an even taller mic stand.
That would be fantastic.
And then we all kneel in a circle around them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm never going to get invited back to this place. Like I live close to this place. There's just no, after like seeing the lineup and what's happening. So we have like the first day is tame. The first day we're going to be talking about entities.
Yeah. The first day we're going to be very serious. All right?
MK
Talking about
Ultra,
important things.
Yeah. UFOs.
UAP disclosure. Fucking entities. Yeah.
Yeah. All this stuff. The safe stuff. The next day we're having Elijah Schaefer. He's doing his own show. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do. There's another special guest that might come with somebody that's pretty fucking. There's a Tower Gang and then Owen Benjamin comedy. There's a duet most likely going on. I just don't even know, dude. It's just I'm never going to be allowed to show my face in this town again. Please show
I'm
up
excited.
so that I can move. But we're going to move to the next place and
I'm
ruin
very
that
excited.
town.
I'm glad you're going to be joining us, Brad. And this was a great conversation. It's cool, but we get to meet you in only a couple of weeks.
But we
so
met him
check that
before,
shit out.
David.
No, that wasn't meeting. I was in a fucking traumatic situation. You brought
was
me to
crazy.
an LP event. I didn't meet anybody there. I
Brad,
was
let me
inundated
tell
by
you.
people.
And David has no idea about politics, which was very fun for me. And Jose called out last minute. Like Jose couldn't come, not last minute. He just said it wasn't worth his time to come. He's a fucking. But we got paid to go there and perform. So I was like, David, do you want to come and perform in his stead? And he was like, yeah, I'll go. I'll take the trip. And I told him nothing about what the Libertarian Party is. I told him nothing about, the
I thought it was going to be
affiliates.
fucking cool. And
Yeah,
it
no.
wasn't cool at all. It was
yeah.
harrowing and weird.
You guys missed what the cool part was, and that was after the convention, that little bar there was filled up with veterans. And my friend Josh, so when
People not
when they
from
asked
the
me
LP. That was a cool part.
Yeah, they asked me to do the debate. I was like, "Can I get my friend Josh to interrupt at the end?" And when we met Chase the night before, I was like, "All right, we're gonna direct it towards Chase." And then Josh came in playing Trump and interrupted. And so then we went over the bar, and he was still dressed. I take him to events as Trump all the time. Like we went to the Bitcoin event, and we just do these fucking. And it's hilarious. He's so good at it. But we went in that bar, and I found the guy who was this lead singer of the band. I was like, "Hey, you guys want Trump to sing a song?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What song?" I was like, "He wants to sing America by Neil Diamond."
Yeah, fuck
And
yeah.
he gets up there in front of all these 70-year-olds, and these old ladies are they're all holding their phones up, and they're just like
They
dancing. And
fucking
he's like
loved
doing this
it.
dramatic Trump as Neil Diamond. Then he's doing the electric slide with these fucking 75-year-olds.
Did they love it?
Oh, they loved it.
Infinitely better sports than libertarians. Libertarians, I have found, are pretty insufferable in a strange species or subsect of political people. I don't know what to call them.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it was
the people that show up to like an LP Georgia event or an LP Georgia convention, it's like there's not much on the line there. I'm not even sure why they were there.
You ever been a place where they also have at the same time, like you go to the mall and you find yourself every store you go in, you're like, oh, I'm not with them, and you find that they've brought special needs people to the mall.
Yeah.
It felt like that. It felt like I
definitely
showed up
was.
to an event at the same time that like they were taking special needs people out for an outing.
Yeah, that was some of that there. I would say the guys who kind of organized it and did like Jake, who set up the cameras, Zach, who did,
He crushed. Yeah,
those guys, Grumpy, those guys.
Oh,
are
that guy
all,
was cool. I remember him. Grumpy
yeah.
was the shit.
Mitch. Yeah, there's a lot of cool guys there, but there's definitely some
a lot of cool guys there
going on.
Yeah.
But I got one more MK Ultra connection.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
So that guy, Martin Seligman, who I'm convinced he's been such an influence and has so much power that's why he's the only one who has been untouched through this Epstein thing. He wrote a book, and his research inspired an Australian psychological researcher who focused in cognitive behavioral therapy, like behavioral manipulation, stuff like that, who ended up writing the foreword to one of this dude's Seligman's book, whose name is, and he studied at the University of Sydney at the time when the CIA, through a cutout organization, was funding an MK Ultra program over there. A guy by the name of Anthony Kidman. Nicole Kidman's father.
Oh my God! Is it really?
Yeah, who died in 2014 in Singapore under mysterious circumstances while right after he was being investigated after allegations of torturing and abusing children for purposes in a way that sounds exactly like Seligman was doing to the dogs in the Learned Helplessness experiment.
Fuck. What did they find him hanging from his own doorknob?
They said he had a heart attack, is what they ultimately concluded.
Yeah, because they fucking hit him with a heart attack. That's exactly why.
Yeah,
Damn, dude. When this show is over, I'm going to tell you what the event is going to, like, what the meat of the event is. And you're probably going to find that a shit ton of your research fits into what we're going to be presenting day one of Bohemian Grove. I don't know how that's going to inform you, but you'll get a kick out of it for sure.
Yeah, let's end this, so because I got to run and I want to tell them about that too. So guys,
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, Brad. But one more time for the audience, where can people find you when they're looking for Brad Binkley?
At Freedom Act Radio on X, Brad Binkley, youtube.com/Brad Binkley, rumble.com/Prop Report. I'm on Rockfin, I'm on Locals, Propaganda Report, and propagandafight.com is my website.
Very cool. Very cool. Looking forward, man, to seeing you in just over a month's time. This is going to be a lot of fun. And I have a feeling that, we're going to see a lot more of you in the future, because this is not the last one that we're doing. We do these twice a year, and they're just getting started. So thank you for being a part of it. And thank you for hanging out with us on the show.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, probably. Don't forget to obey, submit, and comply. Bye.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
You can persuade people that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see. You can't.